Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we will talk about some of the changes in the ISSF Rule Book for this season. This is an overall look, but I'm planning on making more videos about specific changes. So if you have any suggestions or questions, I'm happy to hear them. 2026 is bringing many changes, and a big part of the reason is to make our sport more attractive for social media and broadcast. Changes for judges. The 2026 rules did not only change for the athletes, but it also made changes for the judges. For shotgun, in order to get a shotgun judge license, the applicant must first have 1 year of proved experience working as a shotgun referee. And for upgrades to an A-type license, required experience must be during the previous 6 years. Also, general changes. First, women's standard pistol and women's free pistol are being added to the program. Since these are not Olympic events, they obviously do not have finals, but I still think this matters. Free pistol is iconic in our sport. It is especially loved by athletes and coaches. So even without finals, I think it's a meaningful addition. Air rifle mixed team and air pistol mixed team. Preparation and sighting time increases from 10 minutes to 15 minutes, and match firing increases from 30 to 40 minutes if electronic targets are being used. All right, that's the program update. Now shifting gears a bit, there's also an important rule that affects the support side of our sport, coaches, and who can be on the field of play from now on. Starting from the ISSF World Championships in 2026, only coaches with a valid ISSF Coach A or V type license would be allowed on the field of play for PET qualification and obviously to have a seat behind their athletes during finals. Next, at official ISSF events and championships with TV broadcast, all finalists in 50 meter and 10 meter for both rifle and pistol must have live aiming devices fitted to the firearms. The devices must be installed before each final bar. It's mentioned for 2026, but I will cover that in detail once we see how it is implemented and used in practice. Now let's go discipline by discipline. For rifle updates, there are some very practical changes here. Normal walking on the field of play. One detail that catches a lot of people off guard is how ISSF describes natural or normal walking on the field of play. If your clothing or shoes are so restrictive that natural walking is not possible, you will get a warning, and it can escalate to a 2-point penalty and even a disqualification. Basically, no exaggerated, stiff-legged walking. You're expected to walk normally, heel first and then toe, like a natural step. Rifle boots. This is really interesting because last year there was a proposal to prohibit rifle boots, but that did not go forward. This looks like a good example of how community input can matter when proposals are evaluated. So rifle boots will still be allowed in 2026 as long as they pass equipment control and are a matching pair externally. There are also some changes regarding clothing. Material thickness. The jacket body and sleeves may have multiple layers as long as total thickness does not exceed 2.5 millimeters single or 5 millimeters double. Loose fit test. It must be possible to overlap the jacket at least 80 millimeters beyond the normal closure with arms at the sides. And this is to prevent overly tight fit, especially in the chest area. Maximum 5 buttons will be allowed, and no Velcro additions, sticky substances, liquids or sprays may be applied to jackets, pads, shoes, or even the floor. Shooting trousers were allowed in the prone position for the 3-position event, but now they will be allowed in rifle prone events. The total thickness from the shooting gloves is changing from 12 to 16 millimeters. And let's talk about the time available for 50-meter rifle 3 positions event. This is for qualification with electronic targets. For indoor ranges, the time available will remain the same, 1 hour and 30 minutes. But for outdoor range, it will increase to 1 hour and 45 minutes. Now, pistol. Some of these changes are very technical, but I'll try my best to keep it clear. First, let's talk about grip materials. Glue or resin to improve contact between the hand and the gun is forbidden. Chalk, talcum powder, magnesium, or similar substances are allowed. Now, adjustable grips are permitted as long as the grip complies with the rules once it is adjusted. Compressible or squishy materials are not allowed. I know technology has been doing a great job recently enhancing the performance of the athletes, but no smart aiming devices will be allowed. Anything that triggers the fire mechanism or signals the athlete when to fire is forbidden. The trigger must work as press to fire with no noticeable delay, maximum 0.02 seconds. During competition and PET, the pistol must not be connected to any external device except a charger. If an athlete connects a pistol to any device, it's a violation and the athlete must be disqualified. Now let's go to the pistol grip specifics. For 10-meter and 25-meter pistols, the allowed construction is pretty much like this. First, we establish the axis of the grip. Once you have that axis, you can start applying the rulebook angles to the different areas of the grip. Now, the heel rest must extend at 90 degrees or more to the grip, and an upward bend is not allowed in the lateral direction. Next, the lateral dimension of the grip. This measurement is taken at the height of the widest point of the grip, and the maximum allowed width is 50 millimeters. All right, let's continue with more numbers, this time looking at the grip from the side. First, we identify the center line of the barrel. From there, we can check the grip geometry step by step. Now, focus on the top rear section of the grip, the part that sits on top of the hand between the thumb and the index finger. That section has a strict length limit. For 10-meter pistols, it will be up to 40 millimeters, and for 25-meter pistols, up to 30 millimeters. Next, from that reference point, the rear part of the grip must be cut so that it angles upward by not less than 45 degrees relative to the barrel center line. After that, we check the rear curvature. From the deepest part of the grip backwards, the curvature must go in the downward direction relative to the barrel center line, and the grip must not encircle the hand. The curve must not rise up or round parallel to the barrel center line. Also, up and downward bends along the length of the pistol are allowed, including the thumb rest and heel rest. Now, I know this next part has created different interpretations and confusion in the community, so let me be clear. What I'm about to show you is my personal interpretation of the rule. The rule says the end of the heel rest must be cut by an angle of 30 degrees or more perpendicular to the end of the heel rest. Here is how I visualize it. First, I locate the heel rest. Then I define the axis that is perpendicular to the end of the heel rest. That's your 90-degree reference. From that reference, you can clearly visualize the 30 degrees or more that the rulebook says. With this restriction, the practical goal is simple: keep the wrist completely free. Now, there are some timing changes for 25-meter. The Precision Stage Series time limit changes from 5 minutes to 4 minutes. And for all 25-meter events, when there's an interruption, the time will change from 60 seconds to 48 seconds to complete the shot. Huge note for 25-meter rapid-fire pistol men. This 2026 rulebook confirms that all individual finals will feature 8 finalists, meaning that 25-meter rapid-fire pistol increases from 6 finalists to 8 finalists. I think the rapid-fire new final deserves a dedicated, comprehensive video because it is too complex to explain properly in a short segment. So I'll cover it step by step later on. And finally, shotgun updates. There are important safety and conduct points that are stated more strongly. Previously, some actions were described just as prohibited, but now the rule explicitly says that they may lead to a disqualification, including aiming or shooting at another athlete's targets, deliberately aiming or shooting at live birds or animals, and aiming outside approved areas or directions for dry firing. Now let's talk a little bit about eye and ear protection this time. So what happens if you are an athlete who's not wearing hearing protection on the firing point? The first time you will get a warning from the referee, and second time a deduction of one target. This deduction would be applied to the first hit target in the first qualification round. And how about they're not using the required shooting glasses on the firing point? So it would be pretty much the same. The first time it would be a warning, second time a deduction, but there's an exception. If the chairperson of the juries declares poor conditions such as bad weather, rain, fog, etc., athletes may shoot without the required shooting glasses. Shotgun finals will now be shorter. Skid individual final is changing from eliminations with 50 targets to 32 targets for bronze medal and 36 for gold and silver medal. Trap is also changing from eliminations with 40 targets to 25 targets for bronze medal and 30 targets to get to know the gold and silver medalists. Both the skid and trap mixed teams finals will not be divided in two stages anymore, leaving us with just one single stage per event. For a skid mixed team, the elimination would be after 12 targets for each athlete and then a total of 24 targets for bronze and 28 for gold and silver. And for trap, the eliminations will be after 10 targets and then with a total of 15 targets, we'll get to the bronze medal and 20 targets to decide gold and silver medalists. Trial targets. After 2 consecutive no target calls, the athlete may ask for a trial target, provided that the no target was not fired upon. Athletes acting as fillers for a squad must be the same gender as the original squad. Another important change is for the preparation time limit. In case the athlete is shooting 2 doubles and the athlete shot the first double normally, and then something unusual occurs when he or she calls for the second double, like disturbance, malfunction, no target, the athlete would be allowed 15 seconds to call for the second double. So that's the overview for the ISSF 2026 updates. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.